Ever feel like no matter what you try, your metabolism just won't budge? Well, you're not alone. And today we are going to take on 5 huge metabolism myths that could be holding you back. Could it be true that eating more often speeds things up? Or that your metabolism is just doomed after 40 and you just kind of have to live with it? Stick with me for a few surprises, plus simple science-backed ways to rev things up for real. Let's get started.
Welcome to Rev Your Metabolism with Alicia Murphy. I'm Alicia, your host, creator of Stress Monkey Fitness, the Rev Method, and your go-to health coach for being super fit and unstoppable after 40. With 15 years of rocking the fitness and nutrition industry, plus overseeing the wellness program for a major shoe company, I'm here to share my knowledge with you. Are you ready to join me on an exciting journey to restore your metabolism, boost your health, and turn back the aging clock? On this podcast, we'll unlock the secrets to boundless energy, burning more fat naturally, and feeling confident in your own skin. Get ready to soak up simple yet powerful strategies that will transform your health and fitness game. These tips will be a game changer, so hang on to your hats and glasses. And do not forget to hit that follow button so you won't miss any of our amazing tips and tricks. All right, let's rev it up.
Hello, Revver. Welcome back to Rev Your Metabolism, the podcast for women over 40 who want to feel stronger, boost their energy, and fire up that metabolism. I'm your host and your buddy, Coach Alicia. Today, we're going to dive into some major metabolism myths. If you've been wondering why some of the popular advice out there just isn't working, stick around because today's episode will break it all down. And don't forget, we're going to play our fun game of fact or fiction throughout today's episode. And if you're new here and you haven't played yet, get excited because you're going to have such a good time. Now, you know, Rever, I love it when you slip on your favorite walking shoesies and you get out there and you walk as I talk, get that movement in because you know how good walking is for you. And of course, as you know, I'm sitting here sipping on my fave bevy, Spindrift. Spindrift. I'm seriously like, why am I so obsessed with this stuff? If you haven't tried it, you have to try it. I'm going to take one sip and that'll be it. Okay. So today's lineup, I'm going to break down 5 big metabolism myths that might be slowing you down. And I want to help you get revved up. The best part, after we tackle each myth, we're going to dive into a game called Fact or Fiction. And again, if this is your first time listening to this podcast, it's so fun. I'll throw out a common belief, and then you decide if it's fact or fiction. Are you ready? All right, let's jump right in. All right, with myth number 1, your metabolism slows down permanently after 40, and there's not much you can do about it. This is a myth. If you're over 40 and you're noticing some extra pounds hanging around despite doing the same things that used to work for you, you're not imagining things. But here's the truth behind it. Yes, our metabolism can slow down. But the thing is, it's not just because of age. There are 2 big factors that play a role here: lean muscle loss and insulin resistance. Lean muscle is metabolically active, meaning it burns calories even when you're just chilling. As we age, we naturally lose muscle unless we actively work to maintain it or to build it back through strength training. So less muscle means a slower metabolic rate. And I got to tell you something. There's no way around it. Rever, you need to be strength training. No ifs, ands, or buts. You need it. And remember, the great thing is that on my YouTube channel, Stress Monkey, spelled with two E's, right? Stress Monkey, I have a whole bunch of workouts geared just for you to help you get stronger, lean muscle, burn fat. So I will put a link in the show notes. Head over there, start doing that strength training. And then there's another piece here that we don't hear about as often, but if you've been listening to the Rev Your Metabolism podcast, you've heard it, and that's insulin resistance. This is a big problem. As we get older, our bodies become less sensitive to the hormone insulin, especially if we're not paying attention to our diet and exercise. And when you're insulin resistant, your body doesn't use sugar, also known as glucose, efficiently for energy, which can lead to more fat storage, especially around your midsection. And a sluggish metabolism often follows. Here is the good news. Strength training and a balanced diet can combat both muscle loss and insulin resistance. And one thing I want to mention too is that this is another reason why as we get older, the counting calories thing doesn't work so well, because there's a lot of things going on in our body as we age, especially if we've lost muscle mass and if we have insulin resistance, that are affecting the way our body is burning calories, the way our body is absorbing calories. So just so you know, if you're frustrated because you're like, I am counting calories and it ain't working, well, there could be bigger things at play. So what's the takeaway from myth number one? Yes, our bodies change, but age isn't the enemy. Muscle loss and insulin resistance are. By building muscle and keeping insulin in check through a balanced diet with plenty of fiber, get on that fiber train, we can keep our metabolism fired up. And I got to say that lifting weights, strength training, also helps your body to become less insulin resistant. So pump that iron, ladies. All right, do you want to move on to myth number two? All right. This one's a crowd pleaser. Eating 6 meals a day boosts your metabolism. Who's heard this one before? I know I have. The idea is that by eating more often, you're keeping your metabolism busy, working all day. Here's the reality. Every time we eat, we burn a few calories through digestion. This is called the thermic effect of food, or TEF for short. But eating more often doesn't necessarily increase your total calorie burn. The total TEF is roughly the same whether you eat 3 meals or 6. It's the quality of your food that matters more than the frequency. So that TEF, thermic effect of food, it's such a minute and it only works briefly. And again, meal frequency doesn't impact metabolism as much as the meal content, like what you're putting in your body. Here's what counts. Balance. Instead of trying to eat frequently, aim to include quality protein, fiber, and healthy fats with each meal. This is what will keep you feeling full. And it's also key to supporting muscle and balancing your blood sugar levels. So forget the mini meals, focus on 3 solid ones. I want you to stop for a second and think that this only makes sense. Think about our ancestors. They were not eating 6 small meals per day. So unless you're an endurance athlete or maybe you're pregnant or breastfeeding, okay, so you're going to be in a different category. But for the majority of people, 3 square meals per day where you're eating until you feel satiated until you feel full, that is probably going to serve you better than eating these tiny little snacks throughout the day where you're actually still kind of hungry. So you're more likely to end up taking in more calories. Ready? Game time! Game time! You ready for fact or fiction? Okay, here we go. Here's your first question. Skipping breakfast will wreck your metabolism. What do you think? It's fiction. Skipping breakfast won't wreck your metabolism. And for some people, breakfast is essential for energy. But if you're someone who doesn't feel hungry until mid-morning, that's okay. You need to listen to your body. And I need to briefly pause here on a side note because I want to talk about intermittent fasting, which, Rever, you've probably heard me say this several times. Us women tend to do better when we start our eating window earlier in the day. But that doesn't mean you have to get up at 6:30, eat by 7. No. That just means that if you're going to dabble with intermittent fasting and you're a woman, especially over 40, you might want to consider starting your window of eating by, say, 9:30, and then stopping it earlier in the evening by, 5 or 6. Okay. However, if you are somebody who is literally forcing food down your gullet because you think you have to in the morning, you don't. Listen to your body. We're all different. And the one caveat to that is if you're going to go lift weights, please have a handful of almonds or something. Okay. All right. Here we go. Are you learning something? Is this fun? Do you love hanging out? I love hanging out with you. All right, here we go. Myth number 3. This one, oh my God. Myth number 3, that cardio is the best way to boost your metabolism. If you're hitting the treadmill religiously, this one might sting a little, but you have to stick with me because this is a game changer. Cardio has many benefits, don't get me wrong. But strength training has a more significant impact on metabolism by building lean muscle. So many important benefits to building lean muscle for your metabolism, how many calories you burn, your overall health, your longevity, supporting your joints. I mean, it is so incredibly important. Cardio is fantastic for heart health, endurance, burning calories in the moment. But for a metabolism boost that lasts all day, strength training is where it's at. Because when you build muscle, you're creating a metabolic furnace that keeps burning constantly. Think about inside your muscle, you have these teeny tiny little cardio burning factories. The more muscle you have, the more of those little calorie burning factories pop up in your body. Strength training impacts also something called your resting metabolic rate. So this is why it's a great method for boosting your metabolism long term. It's gonna raise your resting metabolic rate. Muscle mass is hungry for calories, right? It's just feed me, Seymour, feed me. And again, all those other benefits. So if you're still doing tons of cardio, try mixing in some strength training. It's one of the most effective ways to change your body shape and boost your metabolism. And if you just love to do cardio, that's fine, but you need to include that strength training. It is so important. Guess what it's time for? Time for round 2 of fact or fiction. Yeah. All right, here we go. Fact or fiction. Eating spicy foods will speed up your metabolism. What do you think? This one's a fact. Yeah. Spicy foods can give you a small temporary boost to your metabolism. It's not huge, but my little spicy revver, why not? I love spicy food. Here we go. We're moving on. We're going to tackle myth 4. Skipping meals slows down your metabolism. This is a myth. Now, skipping meals here and there won't send your body into starvation mode. But if you're regularly undereating, it could have an impact. Chronic undereating affects the body's energy conservation mechanisms, and this could lead to a slower metabolism over time. When you're constantly eating way below your energy needs, your body adapts by slowing down to conserve energy. So skipping a meal occasionally is okay, but making a habit of it is not ideal for long-term metabolism health. Balanced eating patterns. This is what we want. Instead of skipping meals, focus on balanced ones that keep you full and energized. This is the best way to support a healthy, efficient metabolism. So once again, we want 3 square meals a day where we're eating not until we're stuffed, not until we're like, oh, I'm so full, but until we're not hungry anymore. You should be able, no problem, to go 3 to 4 hours until your next meal. And if you are somebody who's like, I'm just never hungry, then that means your metabolism has become very sluggish. Okay? Let's just move on to the last one. Myth number 5. Today's a short episode. You can't change your metabolism. This myth is one I want to shout from the rooftops. False. This is not true. Your metabolism isn't fixed. Lifestyle changes. We've already hit on a bunch of them. Things like muscle building, the nutrition that you have in your 80% of your life, stress management play a significant role in your metabolism. Let's talk about how these things can help maintain or improve metabolic rate. Again, we've already touched on strength training. Your goal should be to build lean muscle mass. And when I say that, I want you to understand, I'm not talking about the size of your muscles. I'm not talking about getting big. I'm talking about, let's see, I know for those of you that are only listening, I'm holding a ball in my hand, okay? Now, I want you to imagine in your mind, if you can't see me, that you have a tennis ball in your hand. And this is going to represent muscle. I want your muscle, so this ball, if I were to open it up, it's good quality muscle. That's what we're going for. So I'm not saying to make this tennis ball even, this ball I'm holding in my hand, I'm not saying we want to make this ball bigger. I'm saying we want to make sure that this muscle is good quality. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. All right, now let's talk about nutrition. Obviously, nutrition is going to affect your metabolism because if you're eating crappy food all the time, you are going to not only damage your health, damage your metabolic health, but your metabolism over time is going to adapt to that junk food, right? By not being able to utilize it because there's no nutrients. And it's just going to start to store things as fat. It's like, I don't know what to do with this stuff. Blech. But if you're eating, and again, I talk about this all the time in the REV method, FPF. It stands for fiber, protein, and healthy fats. Okay? Every meal should have that because that's going to help balance out the hormones that make you feel full. It's going to balance your blood sugar. And then I've done a lot of episodes about stress. And I almost would rather say, instead of saying stress management, stress resiliency, training yourself to get better at stress. is a big deal. Every strength workout, every balanced meal, every good night's sleep, they all support a healthy metabolism. Your metabolism is adaptable, and with the right habits, you can absolutely make it work for you. Okay, I feel like I just always have to dance when it's this time. Last round of fact or fiction. Your metabolism slows down as you hit 40. What do you think? That's fiction. While the metabolism does change, all these things that we've talked about, strength training, sleep, stress resiliency, good nutrition can keep it steady. 5 metabolism myths busted. Any surprises today? Let me know in a review or tag me on social media. Listen, I have to tell you, if you're serious about revving up your metabolism, you're going to want to get on the waiting list for the Rev method. You will be the first to know when it opens, plus you'll get access to exclusive early bird specials. All you're going to want to do is scroll down to the show notes, to the description area, and find the link to get on the wait list. I'm going to put it right at the very top so that you have no problem finding it. It's going to be launching in January, so be sure to get on that wait list so that you can get all the details. And again, you're going to get those early bird exclusive bonuses. Thank you for joining me, my fabulous Rever. Keep working towards your healthiest, strongest self. And remember, you have the power to change your metabolism. Until next time, keep revving. And I'll see you in the next episode.